Welcome to the Berquist Armament channel. Today we're going to be talking about my general purpose rifle. This is a 16-inch AR-15 with a 1-to-10 LPVO essentially. But before we get into this, I just wanted to mention my company, Berquist Armament LLC. I do build custom upper receive groups such as this one. So if you're interested, head over to my website, link is in my bio. A few things that I do specifically are use Spring-Co enhanced ejector and extractor springs, as well as gauge all the parts in the upper receiver group so that you know what you're going to get out of the box and you know it's going to work 100% of the time. All right, so let's define a general purpose rifle. It is generally a rifle that can engage targets at ranges from anywhere closer ranges, 5-10 yards with relative ease. And then I'd also like to mention multiple targets very quickly. And then also engage multiple targets out to 700 yards with match ammunition, or about 500 yards with M193. And that's with relatively good wind value, 5 to 10 miles an hour. The more wind you have at extended ranges, such as 500 or 700 yards, it's going to be harder to hit your targets. So 5.56 does not buck wind super well, and it does get thrown around. So your range is definitely going to be dependent on your wind. What makes a general purpose rifle good at engaging targets at multiple distances is going to be some sort of a LPVO or prism scope. In this case, I have the Primary Arms GLX 1-to-10. This is a first focal plane scope, and it has a 30mm tube. This optic is extremely good at bridging the line between going down to 1x or 2x and engaging, under 50 yards at targets or multiple targets. And then you can also go out and crank it all the way up and engage targets at farther distances. But what really makes this scope is the fact that it has a BDC reticle. And what that means, that is a bullet drop compensation reticle. So if you're using M193 with this scope and you 0 to 100 yards, you're good all the way up to 700. So it has a BDC, so you can just go to 7 and then line it up. It makes it extremely easy and fast to engage targets at extended distances. There's no dialing with this thing. All you have to worry about is moving the magnification. So that makes it very simple and easy. So a few things I like about this scope is the glass clarity is pretty good. The light transmission is pretty good, and then it is very easy to use with that BDC reticle. A few cons I have with this scope is it is heavy, it is long, and the eye box is actually really far back, which usually is not an issue, but with this huge scope, it somewhat is. So there's pros and cons to it, but overall, it is more of a general purpose, and it really highlights, I would say, farther distances. This is not the ideal close range LPVO. It bridges the gap between farther distances and closer distances. And then additionally, with this scope, I do have a 100 Concepts front protector lens, and then I also have rear protector lens that came with it. And then it does have a kill flash on there, which I do like. Damn, a twig almost fell on me. Anyways, the kill flash is very useful for reducing signature of your glass. And then moving up to the top, we have the Holosun 407C. This is the green dot, which I do not like as well because I have somewhat of a stigmatism. So the green dot is a little bit more blurry to me, but it is very bright and it does work under night vision, which is awesome. So overall, this piggyback mount, it works well. And then I also wanted to mention this is a PLX scope mount, and then you have the PLX piggyback mount as well. And this does line up perfectly, so you can perfectly see the dot over your scope cap. So that does look very nice. Now that we've gone over the scope and the red dot, let's go over the details. Up at the front here, we have the Forward Controls Design A2 birdcage clone. That is a Xeno mount. And then I have a Xeno mount protector on here to protect the threads. Moving down, we have the Roscoe Manufacturing K9 barrel, and this is the barrel and hatchet version. So 16-inch barrel, you have a intermediate gas system. The intermediate length gas system is a little bit longer than mid-length, but it is a little bit shorter than a rifle length system. So it does play well in the 16-inch barrel package. suppressed and unsuppressed. In my opinion, the intermediate length gas system does not make a huge difference. I think it does a very good job at regulating the gases, and it is a good gas length for a 16-inch barrel. But I do believe mid-length is just fine. You're not going to see a huge difference over the intermediate length. This barrel is a taper profile barrel, which means it starts thick near the chamber and it thins out near the end. This is ideal for heat mitigation, so the barrel is not going to heat up as fast, and it's not going to whip as much under heat or under stress. So that is a very good thing, and I do prefer this profile of barrel. It doesn't make a huge difference, but a little bit of a difference does help. I know it is a bit difficult to see because of the spray paint, but here we have our barrel markings. Here is the barrel and hatchet symbol. Also, go check them out on YouTube. Great YouTube channel, good information. And then next we have our marking, Roscoe Manufacturing, and then it is chambered in 5.56, so this is a 5.56 chambered barrel. 1 in 7 twists, so it's going to tend to like the heavier grain weight bullets. And then this is what's interesting. The barrel material is made out of 416R stainless steel. So generally, this material is used to make more precision barrels, and they're usually not coated in a nitride finish such as this. So in theory, this barrel may or may not be a little bit more accurate than your standard mil-spec barrel, right? Made out of 4150 chrome molybdenum, finished in nitride or phosphorus coating. But yes, in theory, this barrel should be more accurate than your standard mil-spec barrel. This barrel may not be as accurate as a 416R stainless steel precision barrel. Here we have our low profile gas block. The screws are witness marked, and then I did use red Loctite and then torqued them down to 25 inch-pounds as the manufacturer recommends. And then moving down, we have the Midwest Industries 15-inch handguard. This is the combat rail. This thing is a decent handguard for the price. I think it blends the lines of durability and lightweightness. Lightweightness, that's a funny word. Anyways, it blends the lines between being lightweight and being durable, in my opinion. If you can go with a thicker rail, that's may or may not hold zero better. But in my purposes for this, I'm not going to be running a laser aiming module on this. I would just run a Illuminator flashlight, so that does not matter to me. So this handguard does work very well. And then moving down, I just have a little Picatinny rail on there for my detachable bipod. And then moving down, this is the Emissary Handbrake Mini. And I do like this because it helps me pull the rifle into my body and just have a good indexing point for when I grab the rifle so I can be consistent. Moving down, we have a mil-spec upper receiver group. This one is made by Aero Precision. And we also have a mil-spec parts kit in here, so dust cover and forward assist. I do like the forward assist. Moving to the heart and soul of the rifle, we have the Sons of Liberty Gunworks BCG. This is their standard phosphate and chrome lined one. And this is probably one of the best bolt carrier groups you can buy on the market, simply because they use the best hardware. They use Spring-Co springs, so ejector and extractor are made by Spring-Co. These are enhanced springs, extremely reliable, and they're one of the very few companies that actually put these in their carriers. What makes the Sons of Liberty Gunworks BCG so special is they gauge it extremely well. They only accept the tightest tolerances, and that's what makes them one of the best BCGs on the market. However, you are going to pay a price for one of those, but if you're looking for the most high quality BCG on the market, I'd probably go with that one. Okay, moving down, I have the Griffin Armament Snatch charging handle. The only reason I have it in here is because I think it works. And then it does have a side port for venting extra gases. So if you're running suppressed, it'll vent the extra gases out of the upper receiver group or out of the charging handle. And then moving to the lower, I have a Aero Precision M4E1 lower. So this is the one with the trigger guard. I do like these. And then other features about this one, I do have a Magpul bad lever on there. I do like that. Mil-spec lower parts kit. And then I have a Radian ambidextrous safety. I do like these. You can run the 45, however, I do not recommend it just because I've had them fall off safe a few times. The 90 degrees, I've never had that happen. So I do like to run mine at a 90-degree angle. And then for the trigger, we have the LaRue MBT. This is a great trigger for the price. I can't recommend enough. I have it in most of my builds. So Great trigger. And then we have the Magpul K2 grip in the back. I do like the texture. I do like the size of it. It is a very good grip. And then one of the big enhancements with this rifle that makes a huge difference is actually the buffer system. So this is an A5 buffer system. It uses a bigger buffer compared to a carbine length. It's a little bit longer. So it actually does mitigate the recoil, and then you get the benefit of using heavier weights so you can really tune your system properly. I really do like this. Right now I'm running an H3 buffer. Most of the footage I have, I was using an H2. But I do like running the H3 because I get a 3 o'clock ejection pattern unsuppressed, and then suppressed, it jumps up to, I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock. The A5 buffer system does slow down the system a little bit, but not enough to reduce your speeds. It allows for a little bit more unlocking time, which really smooths out the recoil of the rifle, and I just can't say enough good things about it. The spring I'm using in the A5 is the Springco Green. A5 buffers do use rifle length springs. In the back here I have the B5 Systems Bravo stock. I do like this because it provides a little bit more of a cheek weld for me, especially when you're doing this top mounted dot. It is a little bit harder to get a cheek weld, but I find that this works really well. And then obviously when I go down to view my scope, I can get a very good cheek weld. And then I also wanted to mention the buffer on here is going to be a CAC buffer. I do like CAC Industries. They make good stuff, and this buffer is a little bit cheaper than other ones, so that's why I chose it. And I did spray paint this thing so it blends in my environment. And I think it does look pretty good, and it does blend in, so that is awesome. And then one important thing about general purpose rifles is you want to use a very good magazine. I really like these Duramag steel magazines. They are extremely reliable. They work very well, and I can't say enough good things about them, so this is my #1 choice. I also do like Lancer magazines. They work pretty well. Magpul is fine, but you want to choose a very good magazine that is reliable. Don't go and buy like a Men 2 or like a budget mag. Don't go buy a budget mag. Buy high quality magazines for your general purpose rifle. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the accuracy with this rifle. So all these groups are shot at 100 yards, and they are 10-shot groups. And the reason I did this is to get a general picture of the accuracy. 5-shot groups can be very hit or miss. Some groups can be good, some groups can be bad. We want to see the general accuracy of this thing. We want very consistent results. Additionally, I do choose to pull one, so I will pull up the numbers of 9-shot groups just because there is some shooter error in there. No one is perfect, so I like to eliminate that as much as possible. So I want to go over the details of the best 9-shot groups. First up, we have the Igman M193 5.56. This is a 10-shot group coming in at 4.4 inches. The best 9 shots are coming in at 2.9 inches. This is another Igman M193 5.56 10-shot group coming in at 4.5 inches. The best 9 shots grouped at 3.8 inches. This is the IMI 77 grain 5.56. This is a 10-shot group coming in at 1.8 inches. The best 9 shots come out to 1.6 inches. This is another IMI 77 grain 5.56 grouping, 10 shots coming in at 3 inches. The best 9 shots come out to be 1.4 inches. The following groups shall be suppressed. First up, the Igman M193 5.56. This is a 10-shot group suppressed, coming in at 3.8 inches. The best 9 shots come out to 3.3 inches. Next, we have the On Target 77 grain 223. This is a 10-shot group suppressed, coming in at 1.8 inches. The best 9 shots come out to 0.76 inches, and this is by far the best group. Here we have the Winchester 69 grain 223. This is a 10-shot group suppressed, coming in at 2.6 inches. The best 9 shots come out to 2.2 inches. Next, we have the IMI 77 grain 5.56. This is a 10-shot group suppressed, coming in at 2 inches. The best 9 shots come out to 1.8 inches. Finally, we have the Sig Sauer 40 grain 223. This is 10 shots suppressed, coming in at 1.7 inches. The best 9 shots come out to 1.5 inches. So with 9-shot groups, I'm getting anywhere from 0.76 to 3.2 MOA. And again, these are different types of ammunition, and these are 9-shot groups. And the mean of that is about 1.5 MOA, and that is pretty good. Then the accuracy with M193, again, 9-shot groups, I'm getting anywhere from 2.9 all the way up to 3.7 MOA. The mean is going to be 3.3 MOA. So again, not too bad. And the reason I tested both is because I do like to run M193 in this rifle quite a bit.
The BDC reticle and the rifle are zeroed for M193 55 grain 5.56. There is one major reason why I set up this rifle to run M193 5.56. That reason is supply logistics, or general purpose ammo logistics. The majority of ammo I have at any given time is M193 5.56. So I was thinking that I should probably own a rifle that is zeroed and ready to go for my M193 ammo stockpile. Let's go into my final thoughts. So this general purpose rifle that I am presenting here today is a great rifle for someone that is new to firearms or the experienced gun owner. This general purpose rifle setup works great for the average prepared citizen. It works up close and it works far away. By far away, I am referring to 500 yards with M193 ammunition. 3.3 MOA at 500 yards is about 16.5 inches, or about the same size as a C-zone target. With the right match ammo, you are limited to about 700 yards. Not because the rifle and the ammo are not capable, but because 5.56 or 2.23 becomes relatively inconsistent after 700 yards, in my personal experience. Let's go over a couple negatives I have with my general purpose rifle. First is going to be the weight. The scope and the heavier profile barrel do add unnecessary weight. You could go with a lighter profile barrel and a lighter profile scope, or even an ACOG to save some weight. I do believe this setup is more oriented towards precision shooting. Next is going to be the scope is not exactly bomb-proof. The ACOG, for example, is known for being bomb-proof. It does not lose zero very easily, and it is pretty difficult to break one. So that is a con that the scope has over a Trijicon ACOG. Thank you very much for making it to the end of my general purpose rifle rant. If you've enjoyed this content, consider helping out the channel by subscribing or just liking the video. Additionally, let me know what you think of my general purpose rifle build, and let me know if it looks similar to yours or different. I will see you guys in the next one.